Hello everyone. This video is going to go over exercise 911B, looking into accounts receivable turnover, inventory turnover, and net margins. Accounts receivable turnover and inventory turnover we went over last week, but this is just to give you another exposure to them. So your accounts receivable turnover, we're dealing with year 4. Be sure you look at which years. So when we are trying to find that, we just take our net credit sales and divide it by our average net receivables or accounts receivables. We're going to find our net credit sales right here on the income statement. So for year 4, that is $2,500,000. Got to go up and find our net accounts receivable. Remember, your net accounts receivable is your accounts receivable minus that allowance for doubtful accounts. So what are we thinking is not going to be collectible? So we've got our two averages there, or two net accounts there. So we have to find the average. We do that the same way as we've done in previous videos. Add them together. Divide by 2. When you do that, you should get 315,000. So then we're going to do the division by 315. And when you do that, you should end up with about 7.94 times. And again, remember, when you're dealing with your assets receivable turnover, you want that to be high because that means that you can then, you are collecting your money pretty quickly. And if you then take your 365 and divide it by that amount, it means it takes you about 49.5 days to collect anything in your receivables. All right, so next we're going to look at inventory turnover. And your inventory turnover is your COGS, or cost of goods sold, divided by your average inventory. So cost of goods sold is on our income statement right there. And again, this is for year 4. So we're looking at that 1,750,000. And now we've got to go find our inventories, which is right here. And we've got inventories, which is the lower of cost or market, meaning the asset amount is taking the lower number between the market value and the cost value. So we're going to take our average of 225 and 250. When you do that, you find you should get 237.5. Again, do the math. And you should find that your answer is 7.37 times. All right, net margin. This is the one that we just talked about today in a previous video. So what you're doing here is you want to take your net income and divide it by your net sales. Well, we know net sales is right there, easy to find. So, and we're dealing with year 3. So on the bottom, we're for sure going to have 2.2 million. But now we've got to figure out our net income, and they don't tell us the net income. So we've got to think about it and say, okay, well, how do we find net income? Well, you do that by taking your net sales and subtracting out your total operating expenses. So we're going to take net sales and subtract the 1,580,000. And that should be, I believe, 620,000. So that goes on the top. and then divide that by 2.2 million. Multiply it by 100 to get your percent, and you should end up with 28.18% when you round it to 2 decimals. And that's problem 911.